for more people. Detention is not possible under EU acquis just because you're a migrant. But it is possible through an individual decision for a specific reason, and we do not touch that regulation in the regulation we propose today.
Thank you very much, and thank you also very much for your discipline so far in more or less only asking questions about the subject at hand. We still have a few minutes, so as promised, I will be happy to open the floor also to other questions. And with that, I will give the floor to Monica again.
Hello again. I am sorry, but I have to insist. You have not answered the question that was asked by several journalists. I mean, what is going on with your analysis of the Polish legislation on the pushbacks? Because, you know, it is like now legal in Poland to do this. Is this, you know, the fact that you're proposing something and then it's going to be adopted by the council? Did you get any assurances from the Polish authorities that they're planning on retreating from the current practices and retracting the law in question? I mean, does your analysis continue of the law, and what is the conclusion? You have not answered that. And my second question is, you highlighted, Commissioner Johansson, the need for transparency, and the Polish government passed yesterday evening a new law that sort of creates a permanent state of emergency because the state of emergency expired last night. And actually the Polish Interior Minister will now have the right to impose a much bigger emergency zone than it has been the case so far. And, you know, journalists and aid organizations have to ask border guards for permission to be able to enter. Do you have a comment on that? Are you looking into that? And how does that, you know, work with the need for transparency? Thank you.
I think I already answered the first question, actually. We are presenting today as a request from Poland, Lithuania and Latvia, as a request from the Council to propose a legal clarification on what is possible to do in a state of emergency that we are having now with instrumentalization and what is not possible to do. And we are presenting this today. I expect the Council to adopt it, and I expect the Member States to apply this new regulation. I regret that this proposal on giving access for the journalists into the zone was not adopted at the last stage in the Polish Parliament. I think that transparency is of the essence, and that would be a much, much better situation if we could have free access for media into the zone.
Thank you very much. I will give the floor to Federica, while also noting that Jacopo Barigazzi from Politico apparently has trouble connecting, so it'd be great if you could just check that. Federica, please go ahead.
Doing if the countries will not comply? Because it seems to me that the countries have no intention to comply with these new guidelines that you're setting out. They're still very far away from reality on the ground. So are there some punishment? Already with journalists, you regret, but you don't do much. So journalists still don't have access either on the border or in the refugee camps. Refugee camps, people can stay there as long as they want, basically, because you said that you don't touch the national legislation. So where are the teeth of these new guidelines?
Okay, I have experience in this room. I always know what's the borderline between a question and what you will write in your article, Federica, which we will read all with interest. But I think we had ad nauseam responded to all these questions. Let's do one more effort. This is a proposal requested by the heads of state and government, the European Council in October, with the specifications that we are delivering precisely today. This will now go into the legislative process. That means that would require approval by the Council of Ministers and consultations with the European Parliament. And then it will be part of EU law. And then it will be applied. And if it's not applied, then we have, as in all cases of EU law, ways and means to check or through infringement procedures or other procedures that is correctly applied. That's the story. The rest I will personally read very with lots of interest your views, but this is answering questions, I think.
Thank you very much. I think that's very clear. And with that, I will give the floor to Jacopo, who apparently is still having trouble connecting. Is that correct? Yeah, there is no microphone source, I'm afraid. So we'll need to probably take your question bilaterally. Just a last check if we have anyone else who would like to ask a question, but I do not see any. So thank you very, very much for all these multiple questions and also to sticking to the rules that I suggested. Thank you very much to both the Vice President and the Commissioner. And please stay with us for the next press event, which will be about digitalization of justice.